Welcome inside the RX Muscle Studios for Ask Dave, better known as hashtag Ask Dave, brought to you by Species Nutrition. Visit speciesnutrition.com. I'm your host, Sadiq Faruqi. Glad you can join us on this Wednesday afternoon, the 27th day of April in 2016. 30-minute question and answer show with Dave Palumbo. All your questions on diet, supplementation, training, IFBB pros, competitions. We're just weeks out from the Pittsburgh Pro, the New York Pro, so the contest season in full swing as we bring in Dave Palumbo to preview our brand new show, Iron Rage. It's the second episode at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Today's topic, Dave, Photoshop. People are calling it Adobe Gains. You and John Romano are gonna be raging about that topic.
Yeah, this week it seems like everyone's talking about how people Photoshop pictures and how inauthentic it is. Whoa. They've been doing it for 30 years in our industry, since Photoshop was invented. But John Romano and I have our very own strong opinions on it, and you'll find out what we think about it, what we think about what went on at Shreds, the company where they fired one of their athletes because he admitted that they were photoshopping his pictures. Do we think that's a good decision, a bad decision? And what do we think about photoshopping in general? So guys, you'll stay tuned later and we'll have a full 30-minute all-out battle royale with John and I. So that, Iron Rage is, it's only been out 1 week and people love the show. So I think it's going to be a terrific show. And Sid, should we hint at another new show we got coming out soon? Or should we not say it? We'll hold back on it.
It is way too early for that.
Okay.
But I can promise you this.
Next month?
Next month, yes. What we can tell you about the new show is that it's going to be combining the new and the old. It is going to be a real... it's going to be a show for analysts. So you are going to get to put on your analyst cap and do some comparisons. So we'll leave it at that. But again, today, Iron Rage. For those who may not be aware of what we're talking about, athletes, Photoshop. So earlier this week, a Shreds athlete named Devin Physique, who really gained a huge following, as do most Shreds athletes. And it came about that he was photoshopping his images because, who isn't, right? That said, Dave and John Romano, we have an image right now. That is Devin Physique as you get the side-by-side comparison with the non-Photoshop and the Photoshopped images. But again, Dave Palumbo, John Romano, Iron Rage, RX Muscle's brand new show, all part of our new lineup here on rxmuscle.com. If you're watching us on YouTube for the first time, hit the subscribe button below. You're not going to miss any of our shows, segments, updates, and of course, join us on the Muscle Central Forum where we are going to begin today. If you haven't already registered, it is free to do so. And of course, so important this time of year when you have the contest galleries, you need to be signed up on rxmuscle.com in order to access the contest galleries. You get all our analysis, all our banter on rxmuscle.com. As we start with Curtis Spania. I hate this show so much, I would rather hire George Farah to do my contest prep and receive the food pyramid, which we learned about in 3rd grade, as my diet, and 300 mg of trembolone per day, because Tren, cough, cough, counts as cardio. And when I try to call him to say that I'm off the program because the doctor said I only have 2 hours left to live, he won't pick up the phone because he has teamed up with Stevie B to hire a hitman on Johnny Styles for hacking into MD security cameras and is now reading to the elderly to get a solid alibi. Well done, Curtis Spania. Well done.
That's like a short story right there.
That is his first ever post on the Muscle Central Forum, and wow. You entered with dynamite. My question is, I feel a stretch in my right bicep straight from the top of the muscle to the bottom every time I stretch my arm out for about 2 months now. It doesn't hurt or hinder me in training, but I fear that I might tear the muscle. I wonder if there is any way to find out what's wrong with it and how to prevent a tear.
Well, when you get weird sensations like that, it's usually something telling you that something's not right. But if you're training it and it doesn't seem weak or anything like that, more than likely it's some scar tissue built up in there and you're just feeling it pulling. ART, active release techniques, is a great thing to go for. If you can find a practitioner in your area, you can go to the activereleasetechniques.com website, put your zip code in, and you can find someone where you live. The great thing about that is that, it's an easy fix. You can go for a massage, and that sometimes can help as well. But I like ART because it's real targeted. If that doesn't help, you might want to get some kind of an MRI taken, but if it's like I said, if it's not really weak or it's not hindering you in any way, I wouldn't get too crazy. I would just make sure I really stretch it out well before training it.
Let's go to Canto Fitness. Thoughts on Rich ranting about Europa for not allowing music in their booths, and I hate this show.
I'm assuming he's talking about Rich Piana. Okay. I understand. At the Arnold, it's a zoo. There's so much noise and so many people that you can't stop noise. But I understand sometimes, at the Europa shows, it's not such a big venue, and they're holding competitions. And if people are blasting music in the booths at a super high level or super high, intensity, it's distracting. It's almost annoying. It's like it irritates people who are next to you. So if I have a booth that I'm paying good money for, and I'm next to someone like Rich, who has 1 million people online to begin with. He's got a huge booth, and he's blasting music, and I can't hear it. I can't talk to the people who are coming up to me to ask about my product. It's going to annoy me. I understand the rationale behind not having loud music. You can have low music. There's so much going on anyway. Do you really need music on top of that? You can't hear yourself think. So I got to go along with the policy. I think if it's too loud, it's no good. If you're in a huge venue where there's 1 million booths, it's one thing, but not in a more intimate, type of environment like that.
You're watching Ask Steve on RxMuscle.com. Right now we're taking questions from the Muscle Central Forum on RxMuscle.com, and we go to Steve MX. Is it true that during an intense workout, if you start to smell like ammonia, that your body is burning muscle tissue as fuel instead of glycogen and fat?
That is not true. Not true. If you smell like ammonia, it probably just means that you're overly acidic, or maybe you're eating too much protein. Your kidneys might be having trouble breaking down some of the waste products, or because you have so much waste in your body's just not able to release it. The only people I ever smell in the gym or in my office that have worked for me before that smell like ammonia are people that are downing too much protein. There was a guy who worked for me, he'd be drinking 100-gram protein shakes every 2 hours, in addition to all the food he ate, and he stunk like ammonia all the time. His breath came right out of his mouth. And that's, I believe, because he was overburdening his body, and his body couldn't deaminate all that protein it needed to do. And so he was breathing it out, and that's just a sign that, hey, give your body a rest. Stop eating. Give your body 12 hours where it can detoxify itself. Take a good fiber supplement to make sure you pull the toxins out of your body. And, these smells, these feelings, these aches, they're signs that your body is talking to you and telling you, hey, listen up. You got to change something.
Let's go to Benadu14. Hey, guys, I hate this show so much. Everyone needs to tune in to the Ask Steve Show, an original TV program on another website. Hashtag why cut back. What's the most trend you would have an athlete? That's funny, though. That's good for you. What is the most trend you would have an athlete use pre-contest, and is provirin something you use for freeing up testosterone and anti-estrogen properties?
Let me address the provirin first, and then I'll come back to the trembolone. Well, trembolone, I usually have guys use 50 to 100 milligrams every other day. That's plenty. Any more than that, you're not going to sleep at night. You're going to get high blood pressure. It's going to make you anxious. It's just, there's a lot of androgens in there. Maybe the last week, do it every day. That's the most I'll have people do. But every other day is adequate. Okay, otherwise you're overburdening your body. And a lot of people get that. Trembolone is so high in androgens that it overstimulates the nervous system, which is why you get anxiety, you get irritable, can't sleep at night. You might get high blood pressure. But it could also irritate your GI, your gastrointestinal tract, which can cause indigestion, can cause diarrhea. I know a host of people that have different side effects, and it's always linked to the trembolone usage, believe it or not. Now, having said that, the other thing was, what was the other question, Sid? The other part of it?
Well, you already answered provirin. Oh, yeah. So
provirin.
for freeing up testosterone and anti-estrogen proproperties.
As far as provirin goes, back in the 90s, no one knew what it did. We all thought it blocked estrogen receptors because there was no real aromatase inhibitors. It doesn't really do that very well. It has androgenic properties. It's not aromatizing. It has no anabolic properties whatsoever. It does not build muscle. Okay? To me, I believe that it inhibits other anabolics from working properly. I don't have any of my athletes use provirin. I know that the newest thing out there is everyone saying, oh, it frees testosterone up. I've never seen anyone go for blood work and then take provirin and go for blood work and show a higher free testosterone. You show me the blood work, show me the science that proves that. I don't believe it. I think it's an old wives' tale that people made up. I want to see the data. If the data's there, I'll say I was wrong, but I haven't seen it.
Let's go to C3 Chris, hashtag Ask Dave. Dave, what's your next big move with the Species supplement line?
Big moves. Next big product we have coming out is a 100% fermented amino acid, essential amino acid product. Not just the BCAAs, although it's very high in branched chain amino acids. It's also high in all the essential amino acids. We make them from fermented amino acids, meaning we don't go collecting human hair from the Chinese barbershops and digest that down and put it into powder form. That's where most of the amino acids come from, believe it or not. I'm sure the amino acids you guys are taking out there right now come from that. We're going to use fermented. It's a new process that they developed where the bacteria express the amino acids, kind of the way you make growth hormone or insulin. And we take those amino acids that are much more purified, better biological availability, and we put them into a great formula with a delicious taste. We're coming out with it's a candy watermelon flavor. I always loved watermelon, but the candy aspect of it just makes it so sweet. There's no carbs in it, and it tastes delicious. And as you guys know, amino acids are tough to make taste good. Best flavoring system I've ever tried. So that's exciting. We have a creatine product coming out as well. But I'm excited about the amino acid product. But you know what the truth is? People always ask me, what's the newest, greatest thing? I'm excited about the Species Nutrition line of products all the time. Why? Because I am so proud that I have every essential product that you need out there, from a multivitamin, multi-mineral with a good antioxidant system in there, and fruit and vegetable extracts. I have a essential fatty acid supplement, the best on the market, including omega-7 fats in there, which we've seen have to decrease body inflammation, increase insulin sensitivity. I have the best joint replacement product out there in Arthrolyze. I have the best fiber product out there, probably one of the few fiber products that are actually work. We have the best whey protein isolate. We have a protein pudding. We have a great herbal diuretic, a great pre-workout that has no stims in it, and we have one with stims. We have a fat burner that has no stimulants in it that works. We have a nighttime fat burner that will help you sleep. I'm so proud of the existing line. I don't need to come out with anything new. I could keep the line like this and never change anything. And you know what? It's all the stuff you need. How much more stuff can you buy than what I just mentioned? You should be using all the essential stuff that your body needs and stop worrying about hype products out there, because they don't do anything for building and repairing muscle, for burning fat. All they do is over agitate your body, okay? If you want health, if you want muscle, if you want to burn fat, you got to take the essential ingredients that your body needs. And that's what we have, and that's what excites me.
Let's go to Sparkle on the Muscle Central forum on rxmuscle.com. I hate this show so much that I would rather ask Kai Greene a question and receive one of his unnecessarily long-winded pseudo-philosophical responses that doesn't really answer anything. Hi, Dave. Why do you think that bodybuilding leads to a life of loneliness and sadness for so many? Can you share your thoughts and own personal experiences of when you were coming up and how it affected your personal life?
I've said this before on radio shows, stuff like that. I believe that a lot of people get involved in bodybuilding, and it gives them some sort of fulfillment to feel like the biggest guy, the biggest girl. They feel armored up with all this muscle on and protected. And they'll sacrifice everything in their life, from their career, their job, their marriage, their family, because they think that, bodybuilding is gonna the more they achieve in bodybuilding, the better they're gonna feel as a human being. They're gonna feel better about themselves. And what they find out is that's a myth. Now, the people who discover this earlier on in their career and are able to adjust and balance their life tend to be much more well-balanced people. The people who don't become the victims of the sport. And we've seen these people. After they're done competing and they can't be the bodybuilder they were, they kind of just, disappear. They become depressed. They get into drugs because they can't get that same fulfillment. Because they're always looking. Look, physical fulfillment in life, okay, is temporary, okay? If you want real fulfillment, you have to have someone who, you got to find love in your life. You got to have people who care about you, friends that are, are true friends, a boyfriend, girlfriend, or wife or husband that really cares about you. Because you can count And if you're lucky, you can count your friends on the palm of your hand. Most of the people that surround you are people that want something from you. Business associates, I call them. They might be business friends, okay? But as soon as you can't do anything for them or they can't do anything for you, usually you guys, disappear. Those are not real friends. The friends are the people that you can call, once every 6 years, and you can be just as good of friends as you were 6 years ago with them, because those are just true friends. Those are usually the friends you develop earlier in life, high school and stuff like that. But the bottom line is a lot of people do wind up alone in this sport because they think that bodybuilding is going to give them all the fulfillment they need, and they when they distance themselves from the people that they care about. And so you got to find balance in your life. And we all go through it. Earlier in my career, I kind of when I went through a divorce, it was tough, and but I knew that I hadn't found the right person yet. So, but it's bodybuilding can be a lonely life because there's a lot of sacrifice involved. Obviously, you got to go to the gym. You got to eat 25 times a day. You can't, when you're dieting for a show, you're irritable. So you got to find someone that understands what you're going through, and then there's got to be compromise. It can't all just be about you.
Let's go to RX Relaxer. Dave, I hate you and your show as much as David Bay from another website hates showing his glutes to Bleckman every time he asks for his bonus. What do you feel, two-part question, what do you feel Sean Rhoden's downfall is against Phil Heath, and is Dallas McCarver a future title contender?
Well, I think that Rhoden beat Phil Heath at prejudging last year. I think Rhoden did something great and something not so great. His knock against him was his shape was beautiful. He needed more size. He came into the Olympia in 2015 with more size. However, putting all that size on so quickly, I think he didn't really wasn't able to control all that muscle, and I think a lot of it in his midsection was bulging a little bit, and that hurt him in the final tally, especially at night at the finals the following day against Phil when Phil came back better. Phil exploited that on Rhoden. I think Rhoden is right there, and I think if he puts together the right look on the right day, on both days, I should say, because the Olympia is 2 days, I think he could win the Olympia. I think he's got all the tools at this point to do it. As far as Dallas McCarver goes, I'm very impressed with him. When I saw him win the North American, I was impressed, but I didn't know where he'd go because a lot of young guys are impressive and then they never really realize their true potential. But this kid has grown into a monster, and he's still got good shape. He gets in great condition. I think he's a future star. I think he is. I would put him up there with the. Originally I thought Justin Compton was going to be the man. I'm not so impressed with him this past year. He hasn't really, his physique hasn't really gotten better than it was when he won the Europa show 2 years ago. Dallas is really, really coming to his own. I'd like to see those two square off on stage at some future show. I think it would be a great battle.
Let's go to Daniel Valuzzi. Dave, where do you see the bodybuilding physiques in 5 years' time? I refer to the Olympia only because of Arnold's views on guts. Can you see the guts and the guys getting bigger?
Look, you know what? This is the truth about bodybuilding. You can have, let's take any guy out there, with the guy with the most impressive aesthetics out there. He's still going to the gym trying to be the biggest bodybuilder he can. I mean, Jose Raymond said it. All bodybuilders want to be humongous. If they're not humongous, they may say, "Hey, I don't want to be that big because I want to have good shape and symmetry." It's a lie. We're all delusional. We all want to be the biggest, freakiest, hardest guys we can be on stage, and that's what everyone is gunning for. In 5 years, I think that we're going to see some of these young guys like the Dallas McCarvers, the Justin Comptons, the Cody Montgomerys. I think we're going to start seeing these guys start to replace some of the guys that are getting injured and the older guys. Who knows? Dexter will probably be around till he's 55, 60. But some of the other guys are going to start getting injured, and they're going to just start fading off. I don't know how much longer, Dennis Wolf is going to be around. Phil is obviously still young. Rhoden is in his 40s. He might only have another couple years. We don't know. But I think that the guys will continue to grow bigger because I think bigger is better. And I think that if Ramy ever wins the Olympia, like I think he will, I think then everyone's going to go chasing him size-wise, and you're going to see another mass war, as I call it. Like back in the 90s, it was instead of the arms race, you're going to see the muscle race. Everyone was trying to catch Dorian, and then they were all trying to catch Ronnie. So if Ramy does win the Olympia, you're going to see a resurgence of big guys again.
Let's go to our Instagram page. Again, our Instagram handle is @official_RXMuscle. The first question, and this is one of those rare instances, the show is Ask Dave, but I'm going to answer this question. And it's from Epi_Muscle. Hey, Dave, I love to hate the show. what is your opinion with all things happening with the company Shreds? My answer to you is tune in at 5 p.m. Iron Rage with Dave Palumbo and John Romano. That is a topic of the show. They're going to be talking about everything happening with Devin Physique, with Photoshop, and whether or not this industry is blowing it out of proportion. And then, of course, the response or press video given by Shred CEO Arvind Lal. We will talk about that. Dave and John are going to talk about that 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on rxmuscle.com. Let's go to Brooks Clark. What is the key to get a perfect tan for show day as far as skin preparation and best products/methods?
Back in the 90s and early 2000s, I would have given you my whole methodology. As a matter of fact, I had a Word document with it all written out. When you shower, when you do the shave, when you should start putting your first coats of Pro-Tan on, when you put your Jan Tanner on. It was a whole process I had. That's when you had to do it yourself. Nowadays, they have spray tanning. I'll tell you what, I like a lot of the products out there, but I love the liquid sun rays. I think it consistently comes out the best. Maryland over there does a phenomenal job. They have different teams all over this country in different states. And you know what? If I was competing nowadays, I would call Liquid Sun Rays up. I would make an appointment with them, and I would get spray tan. I'd pay whatever it is, $125, $150 for 2 days, and I would let them spray me. I wouldn't have to. The worst part of competing was sitting in that hotel room for hours and hours and hours for days, putting that stupid tanning shit on, and it never came out good anyway. It came out dark, but my elbows were too dark. Get spray tan. Don't cheap out and try to save money. You're spending a fortune on the shows anyway. Pay a spray tanner to do it. I will say one thing about Jan Tanner. When Jan Tanner herself is at the show spraying people and having her team and supervising, the tans come out amazing. When she's not there, you can flip a coin. So consistency-wise, I like Liquid Sun Rays and I like their color. If they're not there and Jan Tanner happens to be at a show like she was at the Arnold Brazil, I feel totally confident having my clients use her as well.
Let's go to Alnaki 123. Dave, and I know you've gotten this question many times on and off air, the best way to get your wife pregnant after a cycle?
Well, I perfected the technique. It's the Palumbo Pregnancy Protocol, the PPP. And you know what? I use myself as a guinea pig to prove to everyone that it works. If I can get someone pregnant, anyone can get pregnant, assuming you have no kind of disorder, obviously, testicular disorder. But, steroids suppress the production of local testosterone in the testicles and sperm production. Now, the key to produce sperm normally in an average male is when you produce testosterone so close in your testicles to the sperm-producing cells, it bathes those cells and it makes them produce more sperm. So when you take an injection of testosterone, even though your testosterone in your body is higher, your local production of testosterone in your testicles is actually lower. And that's why you stop producing sperm. Now, that's not a definite tried and true thing. I know guys that are on huge cycles to get girls pregnant, but it's not consistent. Most people cannot get people pregnant while on a cycle. Only Ronnie Coleman can do that. He's got the super sperm. But so if you want to get someone pregnant and you want to use I guess you could say an artificial way of doing it, what I found worked perfectly is, number one, you got to get off all the gear. You can't take shots of testosterone and do it. You got to get off everything. Clean out, okay, and take HCG, 2,000 IUs, okay, every other day, continuously until you get the person pregnant. In addition to that, you're going to take 50 milligrams of Clomid every single day. Those two alone usually do it. But if it's not working, you can throw what's called HMG, not HCG. HCG is human chorionic gonadotropin. HMG is human menopausal gonadotropin, which directly stimulates sperm production by the testicles. That's a little more pricey. It's a little harder to get. It's 75 units I use every other day, taken with the HCG. And once again, you stay on that until the person is pregnant. You do that, usually within 2 to 3 months, you can get someone pregnant. Sometimes it takes up to 6 months. But if you follow that protocol religiously, I guarantee it will work.
Let's go to Raider Hey, or just Raider. Hey, Dave, should natural lifters train a body part once a week? Also, should they do any reps beyond 12?
Look, I like one body part per week, whether you're on gear or you're not on gear, because I like to give the body a full week of rest between body parts. As far as how many reps to do, look, You're not going to lose muscle or not build muscle if you do 15 reps in 1 or 2 sets, that you're doing. I like to keep the rep range usually for building muscle in the 4 to 8, rep range. 4 being the heaviest weight I'll use, usually, okay? So that doesn't mean that I won't do a drop set now and again, or I won't do a 15 to 20 rep set just for variation. But on average, 4 to 8 reps is what most of my exercises will be in as far as rep range goes.
Let's see. Farris Physique, hey Dave, just wanted to know if you would ever have an iron debate on strict diet versus if it fits your macros.
I debated Ian McCarthy on Heavy Muscle radio shows a couple of years back. He was a big advocate of that. I would do it. I got to find someone who's going to defend the if it fits your macros, guys. Guys, if you want to email us, contact Sid at, what is Sid at do we have Sid at RX Muscle, or is it Sid at Species Nutrition?
Sid at Species Nutrition.
Sid at SpeciesNutrition.com, and we could set it up if you guys want to come on air and debate, and you feel that you have enough oomph to battle it out with John Romano, Chris Aceto, myself. Absolutely.
Let's go to Lutfia Joan. Hi, Dave. Why do you think Kai won't do the Olympia this year? That is under the assumption that he's not. And maybe no more Olympias for him going forward. Do you think he just wants an easy money or easy paycheck and collect Arnold's checks, or maybe deep inside he knows he can't beat Phil, or judges would never give him the edge over Phil no matter how good he can be?
I'm going to disagree with Jay Cutler, and I'm going to disagree with Louis Marco and any of the other people who said that Kai is not doing the Olympia. I think he will do the Olympia. I think that he has every intention of doing it. I think that he feels reinvigorated confidence-wise after winning all 3 Arnolds. I think he knows that he has a limited ability or a limited time span to possibly win the Olympia. If he waits too long, he may never have another shot like this. I think he knows that Phil Heath is vulnerable. I also know that he knows that he's battling against, people who don't want him to win the Olympia. Obviously, for whatever his past indiscretions were in his personal life. But you know what? We all have those. Everyone has. I don't believe that someone can't win the Olympia because of he didn't kill anyone. The guy, he didn't rape anyone. He didn't do anything bad. Okay, so let's put it on the line. He had a grapefruit video. He did. Okay, and that's haunting him his whole freaking life. But you know what? I don't believe it. I believe if he comes in at his best and Phil's a little off, that Kai could win the Olympia. And I know that Kai, in the back of his head, knows that to be the case. Because I've never seen him at his best at the Olympia, so he can't really cry about not winning, okay? Come in at your best, and then if they don't give it to you, you can say, you know what, fuck you, I'm not doing the Olympia anymore. I don't believe that. I believe the judges will give it to Kai Greene if he is the best man on stage when it's all said and done. The truth is, I don't know if he is the best man anymore. I used to believe that Kai, and I know for a fact that Kai was the best bodybuilder on the planet. He's lost a little bit of his edge. He still, I believe, has enough to beat those guys up there. He certainly could beat Dexter. He certainly could beat Phil when Phil is not at 100%. So I think it would be a foolish mistake if he didn't do it. I believe he will do the Olympia this year. I think last year he was trying to make a statement. He was being a martyr, which was stupid because no one in 5 years from now will ever remember why you didn't do the Olympia or whatever it is. But you know what? Maybe he just needed a break. He was a little burnt out. Now he's back. He feels good. He's invigorated. I expect to see him on stage at the Olympia.
Take a couple of more questions. Let's go to Abraham Bills. Hey, Dave, I can't say that I hate the show because I freaking love it. Why do bodybuilders never eat vegetables like cauliflowers and tomatoes and lettuce and such?
I'll tell you why. When you're trying to gain muscle and eat a mass diet, and I have a lot of clients who do this, and I went through this, you're eating so much dense food to try to put weight on that you start putting vegetables into your food. It kills your appetite. It takes up too much room in your stomach. You can't eat enough of the heavy, dense foods, the proteins, the fats, and the carbs, and you wind up not gaining weight. So what bodybuilders do is they get rid of all the wasted calories, the stuff that's not going to help you gain weight, and they concentrate on the stuff that is important to them. And I understand why. I did the same thing. It's hard enough to consume enough food that doesn't have vegetables in it. Now you bulk it up with salads and all kinds of crazy, green vegetables. And even though it's healthier, it makes it hard to consume all the food you need. And that's really the bottom line. Now, let's take another stroke, okay, or another side of the equation. Once the contest season starts, the vegetable content goes way up because now you want to eat the foods that have low calories, high fiber, that take up space so you're not as hungry. So in essence, it's off season is like all business. Pre-contest, you put the vegetables back in because you pull out a lot of the other stuff.
Last question, a reminder, in about 20 minutes, Iron Rage with Dave and John Romano. Today they're going to be talking about the Shredsgate scandal with Photoshop involving Devin Physique and the future of this industry, and perhaps everyone is just blowing this out of proportion. Let's go to Donnie, or DO_NNY. Mr. Dave calls you Mr. Dave. How about that? What is your opinion on nutrient partitioners? Do they work? Do you have any benefits of them on a keto diet when you don't eat carbs? Greetings from Belgium.
You know, we talked about nutrient partitioning a few weeks ago, and I don't know about actual supplements that portend to be, nutrient partitioners, nutrient partitioning meaning certain foods will cause your body to build muscle at the expense of stored body fat. Other foods cause you to store body fat, okay? And the positive partitioning agents, or the positive food partitioners, are the ones that make you build muscle at the expense of body fat. The negative partitioners are the ones that make you store body fat. I've never seen a supplement that worked to do that, act as a nutrient partitioning agent. Scott Connolly built the original Metrics meal replacement shake as a nutrient partitioning shake, which basically meant that he put all positive food partitioners into the shake, meaning high protein, good essential other stuff in there, and in terms of micronutrients. And then he didn't put any of the negative partitions like high fructose corn syrup or fats in there. So, in essence, you could design your own nutrient partitioning meals and supplements by just using the right ingredients. But I've never seen a supplement that's just going to tell your body, hey, build muscle, burn fat. Those are called anabolic steroids.
And that is going to do it for this episode of Ask Dave. Reminder, in about 20 minutes, Iron Rage with Dave Palumbo and John Romano. For Johnny Styles, Dave Palumbo, I'm Sadiq Faruqi. We'll see you next week.